Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachadine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyade Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Govinda Krishna Hare Mukam karoti vacharam pangum langayate girim yatkrpatamham vande Shri Gurum Taranam. Okay, devotees, Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, we will continue our discussion on chapter 7, which is knowledge of the absolute. So, we did up to what verse? I don't remember at all.
I think Mataji, it was up till verse 24.
24, yeah, kind of, yeah, 24. Yeah, surrender to demigods and impersonalism. So 24, we were talking about. Somebody had some, some thoughts on what was discussed so far in this chapter. If not, then we'll continue. Anybody remembered anything or thought of something from these verses during the week? Nothing? Somebody heard anything about this chapter? Any of the verses in this chapter? Nothing?
No, Mataji, just I just take a notes, but no reflection in this week about this chapter. So
In this chapter were like seeing the connection of everything with Krishna, right? Like how Krishna says that first of all he just here, and then knowing about Krishna means you phenomenal, and what is that? What was the other knowledge? Phenomenal, and there are two types of knowledges Krishna spoke in the beginning of the chapter. Phenomenal and numinous, right? And he's describing that, and then he says that then everything will be known to you. So if we know about Krishna, then everything will be known. And then how rare is this knowledge? How rare is a person who actually knows Krishna, right? And then we saw that how everything in this material world, everything that we see, all ingredients actually is Krishna's energy, right? So by seeing all those things, we should actually remember Krishna. Yeah, so those were the main things actually, that any ability, any strength, anything that we see is actually Krishna's energy. Basically, Krishna has given that, like even the earth, water, fire, air, ether, even our body is made of that. Not only the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, but even the body is also Krishna's, and even the fragrance that comes out of earth is actually Krishna. So the cooking that we do requires fire, heat, that also is Krishna. So basically, we should actually relate those things to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada in one lecture, he said that, okay, you may not be willing to worship Krishna, you may not be willing to go to temple, you may not be willing to chant, but as Krishna says, that one, what is that? Bhumi apoanalo vayu kham mano buddhi revacha binna prakriti ashtada. So even when we can see that actually all these elements, we can see in all these elements Krishna, think of Krishna by seeing all these things, right? So I'm remembering that. actually. And also Srila Prabhupada was saying that he also spoke about that dharam, what is that? The kama also, about kama also he spoke about, right? There Srila Prabhupada says that so necessities of the body we have to do it. That's not sense enjoyment. Excessively we take care of the bodily necessities excessively, then it is kama. And Krishna says that dharma viruddha means according to dharma, whatever kama is, that is also Krishna. So that is what actually, even the fulfillment of the bodily needs up to the level of necessity, that is also Krishna, right? And then we heard about how those 4 types of people who do not take shelter of Krishna, how the material energy is very, very strong. But if we take shelter of Krishna, then we can get over it. We can cross over that, right? And then he spoke about how 4 types of people who take shelter of Krishna. And we talked about that in that yes, we all of us have come for some of those reasons or all of those reasons. But now what is reflect on and think about what is the reason now. Is it still the same reason or it is changing, right? We should see that, and it should actually start moving towards pleasing Krishna. Basically, initially our reason to take to Krishna consciousness might have been those 4 things, artha, arthati, jigyasu, jnani. But as we are understanding more, it should move to actually love and please Krishna, right? And then about the demigod section, we heard about how the people who are less intelligent, they, in order to have sense gratification, fulfillment of their desires, they take shelter of the demigod. But actually it is Krishna who is actually giving the results, and even that the faith in demigods is also sanctioned by Krishna, and without his sanction that also cannot happen. So now we will do the 25th verse of this section, the demigods and impersonalist sections. So someone wants to read, let me share my screen.
23rd Mataji, right?
No.
The
23rd.
25th, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And also that impersonal one verse we did for sure, I remember.
Yeah.
We didn't do 25th because it was too long for put, I think. That's my
Yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah, I can read Mataji.
1 second, let me. 25th. Yeah, go ahead.
Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavratah mudo yam na bejanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. Purport. It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, then how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna's being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme God. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not really revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasures, but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. In the prayers of Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.19, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yoga Maya and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad Mantra 15, in which the devotee prays, Hiranmayena Patrina Satya Sapihitam Mukham Tattvam Pushan Apavranu Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye. O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the Yogamaya. The Brahma Jyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly removing this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of God in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by the internal potency of the Brahma Jyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.7, there is this prayer by Brahma, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You're always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, sorry, it muted me. Sorry, I don't know where I was.
The learned scientists and learned scholars.
Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn, but also avyaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah. So here Krishna is saying that the foolish and unintelligent people can never understand, can never see him because he's covered by Yoga Maya, and they don't understand that he is unborn and he can never fall down. They think like him there to be the same, like them as human being, but they don't understand that he's the supreme. So here Prabhupada in the purport is giving example like in the during the time where during the time of the Pandavas, there were many people who did not understand him to be the supreme personality, but only a few, like the Pandavas and the Bhishma Pitama and others, understood him as to be the supreme. And then here it is mentioned that in Ishopanishad that the mantra that the Brahma Jyoti is covering the Krishna, and the devotee is praying that let this Krishna remove this glowing effulgence so that he can see his Satchidananda Vigraha, because that's the which gives the most blissful the bliss to the devotee. The impersonates might be happy with the impersonal with the Brahma Jyoti, but the pure devotee would like to see Krishna in his form and serve him. Then Brahmaji is also praying that nobody can understand him, even though he is there in everything, in every atom, even though he's present in everybody. But his Yogamaya his energies are so vast and so potent that nobody is able to understand him. And he is like Avyaya, like I think Gayatri Mataji had said that we think in this material world everything is exhaustible. Like if we have a job opening and I'm applying and somebody else is applying, I might be fearful that if other person gets it, then I will not get the job. But in the realm of in the kingdom of Krishna, Krishna is Avyaya, inexhaustible. He has everything for everybody. Even if you take so many, even if he gives you so many things, it's never gonna exhaust. He's inexhaustible, and because he's the first Purusha, he's unborn. Everything comes from him. So that's what I had to say, Mataji.
Yeah, so in 7:13 also we heard something. So let me just pull up that verse too. 1 second. In 7:13 also something was spoken. So So here Krishna is covered not by Mahamaya but Yogamaya, right? We saw that. And here deluded by three modes of ignorance. Three modes: ignorance, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am above the modes of above modes and inexhaustible. So here also Krishna says people cannot understand me. I am never manifest to foolish and unintelligent, right? Because he gets covered by Krishna is covered by internal potency, but here we see that the deluded living conditioned living entities, they are covered by three modes of material nature, right? So the difference, like, and also in 24 also Krishna spoke about that people think that is out of delusion. They think that Krishna is impersonal before and now he has taken the form, right? So Krishna yoga. So in 713 we saw that Mahamaya deludes the living entity, and in this one Krishna is saying that Krishna is covered by Yogamaya, so they cannot see him. So there is a difference between Yogamaya and Mahamaya. So right, Yogamaya, just one energy from Krishna's perspective, and the Mahamaya is the perverted reflection, right, which binds the living entity in a material world, because living entity wants to enjoy, and that the Mahamaya, it gives them, okay, you want to enjoy, so she keeps them away from Krishna, right? So, and another thing I wanted to say is what I wanted to say is that you already spoke, like whatever is given in here, and Queen Kunti's prayer, we saw that even though you are inside, outside, everywhere, but people cannot see you because you are covered, meaning it's like, and then she compares him to the actor also, right? Maya Javani Kachanam Agya Adhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshase Murdrisha Nato Natyadaro Yatha, right? So she compares him to the actor. So being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So when we see, we don't see, whatever they are looking externally, we see that, right? So basically, what does it mean? That Krishna's energies are inconceivable, and if one does not have devotion to Krishna, it will not be revealed. But if one has devotion to Krishna, then Krishna's greatness and Krishna's reality, truth is revealed by Krishna himself within the heart of the living entity, right? So that impersonal and actually, okay, impersonal, if one at least understand that part, that this impersonal Brahma Jyoti is actually the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, then also there is not a problem, because my knowledge is not complete yet. I am still trying to understand, right? But if somebody says, oh, that is all in all, then that is not correct. That is wrong. So then next section is from 26 to 30, bewilderment and freedom by knowing Krishna. So living entities are bewildered, but they can be free by knowing Krishna. Somebody wants to say something, add something to the verse 25.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yeah.
So Mahamaya is one which takes us away from Krishna. Yogamaya is one which takes us closer to Krishna. So here Yogamaya is covering Krishna for the non-devotees, but I assume for the devotees it will take them closer to Krishna.
Yeah. Yes, it is. For devotees like Nanda and Yashoda, they don't understand Krishna to be Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when Krishna displayed those opulences, still they did not accept. That increased their attachment to Krishna more, right?
Yes.
Instead of making them understand that he is the Supreme Lord. So that is what is the Yogamaya did actually, because the intimacy of relationship was there. Otherwise, if Nanda and Yashoda, they think that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they cannot give him the love that he gives. And see that was in Vrindavan, and in Mathura when Krishna and Balram, they killed Kamsa and Kuvalya Pida and all those. So then at that time, Devaki and Vasudev, they were just like awe and reverence completely. And then Krishna covered them by Yogamaya again to get the parental love from them, right?
Yes.
He sat on their laps, and they both, Krishna and Balram, they sat on their laps, and then the motherly affection again came. So, and then if we see in Dwarka, it is more awe and reverence than in Mathura, and then Ayodhya even more. So it is only in Vrindavan where like Krishna's opulences, they cannot delude the Vrajavasis at all.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. I just wanted to confirm. Yes. So because it's just making sure this is for the non-devotees.
Mm-hmm. All right. So should we move on to the next verse, or if somebody else has something to add or correct, please.
So I wanted to, maybe go over this Krishna's expression that he does not manifest himself to foolish and unintelligent. So there was this anti-preacher. Usually preachers, they try to prove to people that God exists, and this anti-preacher, he was trying to show people that God does not exist. So what he was doing, he was basically blaspheming into the sky and saying, okay, now I told you this improper things. Now, God, if you hear me, you should show up and prove yourself that, that I'm wrong. So here, Krishna says that he does not manifest himself to Krishna, to foolish and unintelligent. So also, we were speaking about previously about two types of people, this Dushkritinach and Sukritinach. So, I understand that he does not show himself to Dushkritinach, but he also does not show himself to Sukritinach, right? Like to the, I heard the explanation why he does not show himself to this Sukritinach, to the pious people, because he wants them to be 100% pure. If he shows up earlier, then they purify themselves, then they will not be able to reach this 100% of perfection.
Yeah, like in the example of Narad Muni in Bhagavatam. So he gave him a glimpse, and then when Narad Muni again tried to meditate and see him, he said, no, you will not see me in this lifetime again, as you need to be purified fully, right? Hare Krishna?
Haribol. That's right, Mataji, yes.
Oh, yeah, I thought I am disconnected or something because I didn't hear anybody say anything. Okay, yeah. And Gayatri Mataji also abruptly stopped, so I didn't know what happened. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so then let's move on to the next verse, 26. This is another section as like living entities are deluded, and how that curtain of delusion can be removed. So let's see. Someone wants to read one?
I can read, Mataji.
Yeah, sure.
Vedaham samattitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kachana. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all the things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Here, the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, material, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then like the
Dvesha Samuttane.
Mataji?
Yeah, I think somebody is unmuted. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. He would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the fourth chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vivaswan, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as a super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as a super soul and his presence as Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as a Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. He is just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is a sun, but that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. By his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men. As is stated in the third verse of this chapter, out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in this human form of life. And out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna without being in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Yeah. You want to say?
Very beautiful purport, Mataji. It's very clear that Srila Prabhupada is saying Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he is covered, like he cannot be covered by Maya, like how the cloud is covering the sun, stars, and moons. It is they are still present, but the clouds is just covering our vision. But like that, Krishna's personality is true, he is existing, but for less intelligent people, he is not seen. Krishna covers himself by his internal potency. So less intelligent people will not realize him and understand him. And he's saying how hard it is, even for the person who has perfected his, reached the perfection, like doing Ashtanga Yoga and doing a Brahman realization. They realize the super soul, even to so much struggle they do it. Even for that person, they won't be able to understand Krishna. It's even for the perfected being. So only Krishna can be understood by his devotees by performing Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, again that 18th chapter verse Bhaktya Mama Abhijanati Yavan Yasasmi Tattvata Tattvamam Tattvato Gyatva Vishite Tad Anantaram, right? In Bhagavatam 18th chapter, there is that verse, only by bhakti we can know Krishna. And if he has material body, then he cannot know, he cannot remember the past and cannot see the future, right? But in 4th chapter we heard that Krishna remembered everything, and Arjuna asked, oh, you are not older than Vivaswan and all, then how is it that you are saying that? But then Krishna explained that I remember everything, but you forget, because Krishna comes in his own original body, not like in material body like ours to forget everything, right?
Yeah, Mataji. Yeah, that point is very important. Like he remembers all the past, present, and future for all living beings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? If he remembers, does that mean that if he remembers all our past, present, and future, then does it mean that we don't have any free will? Our destiny is destined? Does that mean that if he knows everything, if he knows the future, does it mean that? No, but still, like, okay, yes, he knows our karma, our desires, our tendencies, as Srila Prabhupada writes in introduction of Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna knows each and every psychic movement of living entity. So we cannot hide anything. We cannot cheat something, right? Externally, we may think that, oh, I can hide whatever I'm doing from Krishna, but no, even there is a verse in Bhagavatam, it will come in 2nd canto, that how there are so many witnesses, the sun, moon, the sides, the directions, wind, everything is a witness to whatever we are doing actually. So we cannot hide anything. So Krishna is aware of our karma, our desires, and our tendencies, our psychic movement, but still we have a free will choice to choose how I am going to react. So that free will is always there with the living entity. Yeah. So, but Krishna reciprocate to the love of the living entity, right? And also we saw that how Srila Prabhupada refutes the impersonalists, right? Yeah. So basically, if he changes body, then he cannot remember anything. Yeah. And how we can also say that if Krishna knows past, present, and future, then that means there is no covering Krishna coming under illusion. No covering, or Krishna is not coming under illusion because he is already knowing, right? Yeah. Okay, so should we move on to the next one? So in the next verse, Krishna is going to explain how and when did the living entity become covered by Maya. Why is it that the person who knows you is very rare? Why is it that there are only rare people know Krishna? So should we move on to the next verse?
I have one more thing to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
In verse 26, we basically there might be a question which Prabhupada was asked once. The question was, if Krishna knows the future, then do we really have a choice? I mean, if he knows the future, if he knows how we are going to act in a certain situation, do we really have freedom of choice to decide? If Krishna knows everything, for example, if I have some exam like in my life, and I have freedom of choice, and Krishna already knows how I'm going to act, maybe I'm going to act wrongly, or maybe I'm going to act piously. Do I have freedom of choice if Krishna already knows how I'm going to act? So Prabhupada answered that Krishna gives us a choice, and Krishna knows that we are fools and we will choose wrongly, and that's why he comes millennium after millennium, so that we give us the chance and opportunity to choose correctly. And the same question was also asked to Radhanath Swami, and he said that Krishna knows everything, but we still have freedom, and no one forces us to make a certain choice.
Yeah.
And, we can choose one way or another, and Krishna knows about it, how you're going to choose, but even his
Yeah.
knowing does not affect our choice.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. That's what I was saying, right? The free will is there. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. So that free will is always there. I mean, it's not that Krishna is forcing us to choose something, but it's our choice, even though he knows, but it's not restricting us from anything. And also, the free will choice is based on the degree, degree of our mode of which mode we are in, depending upon our modes, which mode we are in, we have more free will or less free will. Like, for example, the animals have less free will choices, but human beings have more, right? Kind of. So depending upon which modes we are in, we are given Srila Prabhupada gives it an analogy like the big rope or a small rope. So means our free will is not like the free will of Krishna anyways. So those who are devotees and those who are close, they might have more like the large rope and they can go to like bigger area. But those who are naughty, who are not obeying, like in those citizens who don't follow the rules and regulation, they are put in the jail, right? So their free will is less. So depending upon what mode is one in, our free will is less or more.
You know, I have one more example regarding how basically we ourselves limit our free will. And examples can be, for example, if a person, I don't know, goes to a certain place and he sees, let's say he sees a nice pen or a pencil over there. And at that moment, he has free will. For example, 50% he has free will that he can take that pencil and 50% that he doesn't take this pencil. So let's say the person takes the pencil, I don't know, from some institution, brings it home. And no one saw him, no one caught him, he did not get punished. Basically, he just stole something, I don't know, from the store, from anywhere. Let's say he stole that pencil. And next time when he sees the opportunity, that no one is looking and, the nice pencil is lying down, no one is looking at, no one is watching it. For example, in the previous time, he had choice 50-50 to take it or not to take it. So the next time, if he was not caught and was not punished the previous time, his choice is no longer 50-50. His choice is already, he has, since he was not punished last time, next time his choice is that he will probably do the same thing as the last one. So his choice is probably like 75-25. He will have more likelihood to act wrongly if he wasn't caught, wasn't punished.
Yes.
We limit our, by our actions, we limit our choice to
choices. Yes, Mataji, very nicely said. Yeah, very good example, very nice example. And there are many other examples like that, like the people who take some like alcoholic drink first time, they even don't like it, but they take it somehow or the other, but they are very hesitant in taking it, right? And then the next time and the next time, it becomes so easier. So basically the sinful tendency increase by doing one sinful act, the sinful tendency increase more and more, right? So the choice is lost.
And also in the same situation, if, for example, if the person, let's say the person is born into some, I don't know, criminal family where he's from the very, childhood is brought up in a way that, you need to take that pencil, you need to drink that. Even if each time, if he's making a small effort not to do it, his choice into the correct, into the right step, it increases. So it works both ways. One way is that we limit ourselves But
Yeah.
even if we are in a very bad situation, there will be still, we can increase the choice into the
Right.
opposite direction.
Yeah. The basically resistance to do wrong thing increase means like, okay, if I somehow controlled my desire, not desire, controlled myself to not do, for example, to watch a movie or something, right? So then two things are happening there. One thing is the bad effect from the movies I am stopping, and the second thing is there is a positive result I will get to choose not to do the wrong thing but to do the right thing, right? So it helps us in two ways. If we do a little sacrifice, right, choose the right thing.
Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Yeah. All right, so should we do one more verse or just, yeah, I think we can do this. Purport is small. Yeah,
Mataji, quick question, Mataji.
Uh-huh.
With the conversation that you all had, so Krishna is knowing everything, but he's giving the free will, and he's also neutral.
Yes,
right, Mataji?
Yes.
So just as he's neutral, he doesn't impose anything.
No, he does not.
Yeah. So that's why people will ask, why if Krishna knows, why can't he?
Yeah. So then where is the question of love? If he impose, then it is not love.
Yeah.
So you will put a danda on Shriya's head and tell her to love you or do you. It's like that. If he imposes something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what.
Yeah, love is voluntary. It's not by, I cannot demand love. It is like I cannot demand it, right? Love is free. Love is free flow, voluntary. And that is what Krishna is looking for.
Yeah,
why we say that we do things out of fear, we do things out of duty, which is better than doing out of fear, but then above all is out of love. Instead of just duty or fear, if we do it out of love, that is the free flow, that is voluntary, right?
Yeah, Mataji. Yeah.
Duty and fear, out of duty and fear is not voluntary. So but by this process of sadhana is kind of duty basically. Okay, if I do this, then it will be good for me, kind of duty, right? But when we are doing this thing, our sadhana, then our, according to rules and regulation, then heart is cleansing and it is getting attracted towards Krishna. Then when our attraction for Krishna increases, then there will be love. Right?
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah. All right. So let's quickly do this verse. Someone wants to read?
Yeah, Mataji, I can read.
Sure.
Icha dvesha samuthena dvanda mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti param tapa. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O scion of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, risen from desire and hate. Purport: the real constitutional position of living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord. But who is pure knowledge? When one is deluded into separation from pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by illusionary energy and cannot understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. Illusionary energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand Lord Krishna appears by his internal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and science think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons symptomatically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and men, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc., thinking, this is my wife, this is my house. I am the master of this house, I am the husband of this wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completely foolish and therefore cannot understand Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Very
Hare
well.
Krishna.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, Mataji, I think, of course, we face duality every single day of our lives, but um, one who wants to consider Krishna as the Supreme Personality doesn't envy Krishna. You know, it's a complete surrender. Once we surrender and accept God as Supreme Personality instead of trying ourselves to control and be the owner, do the ownership, or want to be the ownership, are in misery and in delusion. But people who are the illusionary energy is what making us fall into the desires of duality, and desire and hate is basically what's controlling us. So if we can overcome those, I guess we can be on the right path towards our bhakti.
Yeah. So what is the, how does it begin? It's that delusion. So ichha
Separation from pure knowledge.
Yeah, forgetfulness of our constitutional position of being servant means we want to enjoy, right? We don't want Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, to enjoy. We are envious. This forgetfulness of our position as tiny servants, actually. And then we assume a false identity, right? False identity means I am this body. I am the
Right.
actually I am the enjoyer, that false identity. Then this false ego means false identity means false ego. It creates the false reference point that I have to enjoy, right? What is my enjoyment and what is not my enjoyment? I have to like something and avoid something. That is the false ego does that part, that I like something and I do not like something. I have to avoid something, right? And then we are caught in the duality of respect, disrespect, gain, loss, misery, happiness, women, men, etc., all that. And then illusion. Then we get, by this duality, we get illusion and we cannot see things as they are. Means we cannot see things in connection with Krishna. We see things, oh, I like this and I don't like this, right?
Right, Mataji.
So, and then in in Srimad Bhagavatam in 11th canto, chapter 20, verse number 8, Krishna speaks to Uddhav in Uddhav Gita. He says that if somehow or other, by good fortune, if one develops faith in hearing and chanting Krishna's glories, such a person, being neither very disgusted with or nor attached to material life, should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion to me. So somehow, yes, we are bewildered, we are trapped, we are having this false ego. We want to enjoy, we want to avoid certain things, we like, dislike, we are in dualities and all that stuff. But Krishna is saying, but if somehow or the other, if we develop faith in hearing and chanting Krishna's glories, then actually we can come to this perfectional stage of loving devotion to Krishna, right? In the next verse, Krishna is going to tell actually, okay, then how can we overcome this? Who can overcome this illusion, right? So he's going to describe that path to us. All right, dear devotees, it's 8:24. Somebody wants to add something, say something, correct something, please go ahead, and then we can chat on down.
I don't know, I have something to say, but if we can chant, maybe I can move that to the next class.
It's okay, you can say it and then we can chant. So it can take 5 minutes more, that's fine, right?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, because otherwise then the flow will be gone, right? Go ahead.
Well, when I see at this verse, what it tells me that, you know, we are all born with this ichha and dvesha. So that if we didn't have it, we would not probably be born in this world.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah.
And so the original ichha is the desire to become God, and the original dvesha is the hatred or anger at the one who already holds that place.
That, yeah, which is Krishna.
Yes. So the thing is, also here it explains why do we feel this rivalry between, you know, between someone who does something better than myself. For example, if I'm an expert chef, or I'm an expert singer, or I don't know, let's say expert chef, and I see someone else who cooks very well, then immediately there is rivalry, and basically, if someone is better than us, then that person questions my being best, my being by me having this opulence, right? And then I feel this dvesha to this in my heart, to that person who is better than me.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we don't like someone who is better than us, because they question our divinity. So
yes. We get threatened. Means our identity, the false identification gets threatened, right? If somebody have something better than what we have, right? So our identity gets threatened by that.
So the next question, why do we not really feel rivalry? My God, why don't we really understand that we are angry with God? I mean, if you ask a person, I mean, are you angry with God? Do you hate God? Do you want to become God? I mean, no one ever would say, okay, I hate God, or I want to become God. I mean, otherwise, you know, would probably go to a mental institution. No one would say it. So how come we do not feel this original dvesha? And the answer that I heard is that, imagine the same situation, that we are an excellent cook, and there is someone who is excellent in a different field. For example, someone is a singer, excellent singer, and to me, I do not worry about that person, because I don't stand a chance to sing better than him. If I, you know, like, I don't have a voice at all, for example. So I don't envy that person, because I just don't see him. I don't think that he exists. So I do not worry about him. And the same thing is with God, or with Krishna. We do not realize that we are angry with him just because we do not, like, we don't give
compete. We don't compete with him. No, we don't
compete with him, but just because we do not see him, like, we do not give him any weight in our life. That's why we do not realize that we have rivalry with him.
Right.
Like with someone who is singing better than him, when we don't, you know, we don't get any chance to sing. Like, we are cooks, and we do not have any rivalry with someone who sings well.
Yeah, so basically what your point is, that the rivalry and that seeing thing comes when there is a point of comparison for us, with us, right?
Yes.
Otherwise we don't, means I know that I cannot do it anyways.
Yes, therefore we do not really see that God exists.
Yeah, we are actually envious of God, right? But in reality, if I have envy towards anyone, that means I have envy towards Krishna, basically, because that skill that other person has, which I am feeling envious of, it is given by Krishna, right? Read from multiple speakers. I think my Guru Maharaj, as well as Srila Radhanath Maharaj and multiple other sannyasis, that if I am envious of somebody, that means I am envying Krishna, because that skill or that ability is given to the other person by Krishna. And there is a very beautiful quote on this kind of a topic by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says if the mood of enjoyment does not remain, means if we don't have a mood of enjoyment for ourselves, then the propensity of envying others does not arise. So meaning the propensity of enviousness arises because I have the ichha for enjoyment for myself, right? The desire for enjoyment for myself. So if I don't want any separate enjoyment than giving pleasure to Krishna, then there will not be any envy towards anybody or Krishna himself, right? But very nice point actually, Gayatri Mataji, that you just added that one. Very, very beautiful, that our envy and all that, that dvesha comes only when that skill, means somebody is doing the similar thing, when there is a comparison, and otherwise we don't see the other person. So that is why we don't see that actually we are envying Krishna, right? Thank you so much for that.